Hey everyone, welcome back to the Specialists of Nothing, where we talk about anything and everything. As always, Joe and Danny with me.
What up?
How we doing?
That was a long pause. Tonight's topic is going to be about film genres. We've gotten into a lot of conspiracy stuff lately and whatever. We wanted to get into something that was a little more factual and yeah, just kind of get back to some different stuff. Keep it all over the place. But yeah,
Movies specifically, because everyone's a big movie buff. I'm a huge movie buff. I
yes.
know you're a big movie buff. Joe's got a vast collection of DVDs in his house. He's got triples of DVDs he doesn't even know he
I'm
owns.
the movie man.
See,
He
the
really
only
knows his
thing I
shit.
ever collected was Disney VHSs, but like anything else, like I never really was big on getting DVDs or whatever. But like when I was younger, we went to the movies religiously, like
Yeah.
more than once a week. But not even that. Like even like when I'm not saying younger, but like when I'm saying like when I was hanging out with you guys and stuff too, like 10 years ago, like we used to go to the movies like all the freaking time.
Dude, every time a new movie came out, we'd be into it, And that's
And
Can I just say, going to the movies when we were kids was the best.
yeah.
I remember going to the United Artists, the UA Theater in the Highland Plaza by that Toys R Us.
Yup.
And
Yes.
like when Batman would come out, they would have people dress up as the Joker, Batman,
Mhm.
Fast and Furious. When that fucking movie came out, bro, they had like all these street cars all lined up,
No.
like,
That's
hyping the
dope.
movie up.
No, I remember that in Highland
You,
Plaza.
you ever
That was
you
really-
remember any of that shit, bro? They used to do that stuff for movies, like when we were kids back in the day.
I don't remember too much of it, but I'll tell you what, I do remember my
Missed
very
out.
first movie in the movie theaters. Do you remember yours?
No.
You don't remember your first movie in the
my
movie
first
theater?
movie, man.
My
That's a good
very first
question.
movie, I was with my aunt,
Oh,
and it was early 90s. I might have been 5, maybe 6. It was Miracle on 34th Street.
wow, it was one of my
Yup,
favorite
it was a
movies,
Brooklyn
man.
theater
Really?
in Bensonhurst. It was my
Yeah.
first movie ever. I'll never forget it.
Okay.
It was pretty crazy. But like you said, it's
That
the
is cool.
adventure, it's
That's-
the thrill of the movie,
Mhm. And
I love, sorry, real quick. I
No,
love,
no.
Go, no, because I got something we're going to
no,
get into.
good.
I fucking love the trailers, bro. I think that's one of the best parts of going to the movies
yeah,
itself.
definitely.
Yo, you
Uh-huh.
get hyped up because you know you
The
watch that trailer
previews.
and then you look to your friend left or right and
You're like, oh,
yo, we gonna see that shit.
Mhm. Or like
I'm
you look up
seeing
and you're
that.
like, yo, that looks whack.
Like, nah, we gonna go see it. But yo, after every single trailer, you always look to your boy and you're like, yeah or nah. Yeah,
No,
we'll
I hear
see.
you. I hear that. No,
But
I
yo-
was gonna go back to saying what Joe was saying, like about how they used to do stuff like that back in the day. It's because nowadays they have social media and stuff like that to promote, or they have like
Yeah.
they have things
True.
where people see commercials more and like stuff like this on ads and whatever, that they don't have to do as much like that. Where back in the day they didn't have as much, they didn't have internet and stuff like that back then. So how else were you like promoting stuff or getting people excited? So that was one way where they could spend money and do that. Now they spend the money in like ad space and stuff like that instead.
Facts. And
Sorry you
know,
missed out
and
on that, Danny.
I was never really around that. I don't really know. But like when Star Wars came out, people were dressing up like Chewbacca, like
Still.
Oh my
R2D2,
God, the
C3PO.
best.
They still do it.
Yeah,
dude.
still,
one
people
thing
are still
still.
doing that.
The new ones came
Even
out,
for-
there's still people
even-
doing that.
Even for the Avenger movies, man, people have
Dude.
gone with like Captain America shields,
Mhm.
fucking Thor hammers. People got the wigs on.
I gotta tell you, well, listen,
It just
man.
makes going to the movie so much fun,
Those
bro.
blockbuster
When a movie
movies,
franchise is so good, right? Yeah, those big blockbuster movies. And it's just like, yo, you're so hyped to get there and watch what the hell's about to
forget
go
it.
down.
You know what I used to do for only recently, I want to say, I would have to pre-order my tickets, or like I would go in, buy my tickets for later that night, and then do what I got to do, and then show up, because it's either going to be sold out when it's a blockbuster hit. Like
Probably feel like a
some
boss, bro. You walk up past that long ass
You know
line,
what's
you're
fu-
like, I'll take my 2 tickets.
You know what's one thing I haven't done yet is the movie theaters that like give you the food. Like they're like the
you never had a dine-in
No,
experience?
dine in.
I haven't done the dine-in theater
It's-
yet. I heard like the food isn't
It's a
like
hit or
great.
miss.
It's just a good experience. Or, like
It's a
whatever.
little overrated,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a cool experience.
That's
You
what I'm
should
saying. I
definitely
would
check
do it
out.
once. Like me and Karen go out one night, and like I would do it just to try it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But like I heard it's like ballpark food, like chicken fingers and
No,
Oh, you
fries
gotta
and stuff
order
like
chicken
that.
They
fingers
got
or the
some regular
mozzarella
shit.
sticks or
they
the
got
French fries.
burgers,
usually
they got
good.
chicken, like fettuccine.
Some stuff's
and
good,
shit.
man.
Bro, it's a whole kitchen.
I wouldn't order no fettuccine alfredo from.
I'm not
them,
ordering
you know.
steak and lobster, but you get what I'm saying.
No,
you
I
know?
hear you. I hear you.
But yo, so You guys familiar with the Atrium right over here in Great
Yeah, on
Hills?
Arthur Kill, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was my spot. Every Friday night, we would walk like 6 blocks.
That
to
is
it
your
because
spot.
It's right by my house.
Yeah.
So a bunch of the kids that I used to hang out with, we were like 14, 15, 16, we go to the movies, and that's what it'd be. The Friday night is where it's at. Everybody goes there. You tell your friends from school, you meet up, you see a cute girl, you hope to like sit next to her, hold hands, maybe make out like little kids in a movie. And then I can't even tell you the count, whatever. We're not going to get into that. But it's like, there's also, you see familiar faces. Yo, one of my first fights was at the movie theater. Some kid bumped
Really?
into
Oh,
me,
I was gonna.
and he shoved
You know how
me.
many fights?
Well, you've
I've
actually
gone
been in
at
a
the
fight?
movie
I didn't know
theater.
that.
Yeah, Frank, you'll find out.
I'm just fucking with you.
You'll figure out how
Me
many
and my
times.
whole family fought people at the movie theater once.
Yo,
Seriously?
That's crazy. Joseph
I'm
is
not
wild.
even shitting you, bro.
That's
My
awesome.
whole family. I'm talking me, my dad, my mom. We all brawled out.
Yeah.
Fucking throwing people
Wait,
through
against
the
another
movie
family
poster
or like a
signs, the
bunch
big
of people?
signs. Nah, bro. This is when I was in high school. Yo, I went to
This is
high
a
school in
long time
Jersey,
ago.
So I
Man.
did. We used to go to every Friday night was like the movie spot, like in high school for me. But we used to go there
Yeah.
to fight. That was like the fight spot.
Oh my
A little
god,
weird,
that's
but like
funny.
everybody, whoever, we would always go to the movies and somebody was fighting either right in front of the movie theater or in the Kmart parking lot right over next door.
That's
Damn.
funny. No,
Meet me in
well,
the parking lot.
I
after the
remember
credits.
like you said, the Highland Plaza, like that was where I went when I was younger. But then like that got raggedy and old and like it closed down. So like even now, like
Yeah.
Danny, like
that
we went to go
actually
see
had the
Super Troopers
cheapest
2.
tickets on all the island.
No,
Sorry to
it
cut you off.
was. No, it's all right. But it
Yeah.
was a great theater, and it was right by my grandma's house, like right around the block. So, we would always go there. But it's funny because yeah, even when we just recently saw Super Troopers 2 when it came out like last year, whatever it was, a year and a half ago, Danny was like, "Let's go to the Atrium," and I was like, "Another theater." So yeah, let's go. But all right, so let me get into
So,
theaters now. on the
There you
island.
go. Tell them what the film genre is.
all right, so
Yeah, Frankopedia.
a film category for motion pictures based on similarities either in narrative elements, aesthetic approach, or emotional response to the film. So basically, there are categories defined that define a movie based on its narrative elements. Sorry, I said that weird. Each genre is unique in the types of stories they tell. Genres have changed or evolved over time, creating several subgenres that further define filmmaking styles, such as like action comedy and stuff like that.
Psychological thrillers.
Yeah, exactly,
Adventure
like-
drama, shit like that.
Yeah, where they've kind of blended
So-
together.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with. Yeah, you guys know I went to SVA, School of Visual Arts for college and shit. I was required. My sister's a film major. Was a film major. She graduated, obviously, but she and I video. It was the most boring class of my entire life.
Really?
I'm sitting there thinking I'm
couldn't
actually
imagine.
gonna like learn about film and video, and this is like a core class that she had to take. I took it as an elective, but we saw a lot of old school black and white or silent movies, which now that I look back on it, like Charlie Chaplin and like Train Robbery, The Great Train Robbery, shit
Psycho.
like that. Yes, but this is before that.
Yeah, I know.
Shit like that was so original that now everything, because that was when movies first started. Since then, like Paramount and Universal and all these different big companies bought up other companies and studios, and that's why they're producing all these films. What I'm trying to get at is created then the black and whites, Charlie Chaplin's, the train robberies. They've inspired so much of future
See
genres.
why
that-
they showed you that back in school back then.
now I do, but at the time, bro, I was falling asleep in class. It was
Yeah.
miserable.
But that's
Um,
most. Why are you showing me this? And he gets frustrated. He's that like this that, and then he realizes why it was useful to him. Kind of
Right.
like the same,
Muscle memory, yeah.
exactly. It's kind of like, but the same aspect here is in the sense of like where you were seeing that and you were learning stuff and you didn't realize why it was so important. But then
Facts.
once it was important, or like later in life, you're like, oh my god, I'm so happy I did learn it that way in school. You know what I mean?
So a lot of it started with like the Great Train Robbery, and there's been movies in the past my grandfather loved, and I'm sure thinking back on it, you guys have either heard or seen any type of film that has to do with like John Wayne or Clint Eastwood, like the Lone Ranger, shit like that. People thrived on that stuff back then. And
Yeah,
it's
Western
they have
movies
other
where
things.
it's at.
They
I mean,
do.
I know
it's
those movies.
interesting.
I mean, I know those names, John Wayne and Clint Eastwood, but the only movie I've even seen with Clint Eastwood is Gran Torino. Other than that, I've never seen any of their stuff. Like, to be
Okay.
honest with you.
So-
He's a big movie director. He directs a lot of movies now.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and
He's
I
like
think he
also
was awesome
95 years
in
old.
Gran Torino, and I was gonna say, and he was old as hell. But like, and I've heard how great he was. I never happened to see any of those old movies.
You guys cut out for me a little bit.
Oh, really? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's not your fault, but yeah. So there's a lot of westerns that you think of, like Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid, a lot of cowboy movies that are being remade. And to be honest with you, I'm a big fan of cowboy movies, not so much westerns specifically, but like I would watch some rebooted shit.
So, why? For me, I don't know if it was really like a western or more of a comedy or whatever, but Wild Wild West was one of my like if you said any
It's
western,
good.
that was probably
Will
the
Smith?
one that I know. Yeah, exactly.
Well, they have a lot of those like subgenres, like you mentioned before, where there's like action thriller or psych thriller, action comedy, western comedy. That's one of them. And dude, comedy is those movies are so quotable that I think I probably have 75 to 82% of my life's conversations are just quoted from comedies.
Oh, absolutely.
Darren too. Darren's a big fan, obviously.
Mhm. No, I hear that. So wait,
But-
let me ask you this, and you have to pick one.
Can't do it.
Have to pick one. Favorite comedy movie to quote from.
To quote from?
Like, obviously, I'm gonna break it down. I'm not gonna say favorite comedy
Wow.
movie because I know there's too many, but I'm gonna give you like that's my narrowing it down.
Damn. To quote from. All right, go ahead. Are you gonna tell him or what?
No, I'm asking you. What's your
You're
favorite
asking-
movie?
I'm
Yeah,
asking
what's your
you.
favorite one?
Probably if I had to pick, it's either Dumb and Dumber or like Austin Powers or like an Apatow production, like fucking 40-Year-Old Virgin or something like that. Step Brothers. Oh,
Yeah.
There's too many. I can't because
Yeah,
Bridesmaids
there really
in there
is. There's
too,
just so
like
many, man.
super bad. You're
It just depends
quoting
on your
them-
situation, man. Yeah,
That's
I don't
it.
know.
That's it. You're quoting them all the time without even realizing it.
Yeah, no, there's a lot that it just like comes out like almost like muscle memory.
It is. It's
I
just
cut
like-
myself the other day, and I was like, nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
See, there we go.
You know what I mean? It was just like it all depends on like,
Yo, you'll be with yourself and you're just quoting shit.
and I was by myself.
That's some shit,
That's
man.
fine. I love quoting Dodgeball personally. I do like
Dodgeball's a
Dodgeball.
good one.
So-
Wedding Crashers. Those are great comedies.
Wedding Crashers is
Zoolander.
probably like top 3 to most that I usually pick from, or 40-Year-Old Virgin, 50 First Dates. I liked a lot for one.
That's a good one.
But yeah, that's
You know
fine.
what though? Like with comedy movies, there's different, I guess, like you said, subgenres of it. Some of them are like parodies and shit. When they do like Scary Movie, yo, when that
not.
shit came out, that was my shit. Scary Movie,
Really?
Scary Movie 2. Yeah.
No.
Really, Frank? Oh my god,
Yeah.
hysterical.
How do you
Like the
not?
first one was like funny, like it was all right, but then like some of them just got so stupid. And then there was like the other one that was
Well,
like
You got a valid point.
it wasn't Scary Movie, but there was another one like
Not another teen movie.
yes, that one was stupid as hell.
Nah,
like, I
bro,
don't know,
that
like,
was some good
I didn't
shit.
like that one either.
See, but don't get me
Listen.
wrong, like Don't Be a Menace
Corny.
was that type of movie too, but I loved
So
Don't Be a
funny,
Menace,
bro.
like don't get me wrong. So like
That was
there's
the
some
first
that I
of
think that were
them.
funny, but yeah, I don't know. I
You know
wasn't a big
what?
fan of those.
Well, because there's like those three, not another teen movie, Don't Be a Menace, and Scary Movie. Scary Movie 2, that started it. And then it was like Meet the Spartans and superhero movie, and that shit just got played out. It was too slapstick and very much like, oh, I'm stepping on a rake and getting hit in the face with the broom. Like nobody wants to see that shit.
Yeah,
But there
no,
are a
no.
lot of funny buddy comedies. And like especially buddy cop movies, like they have fucking
like partner movies or whatever.
yeah, what the hell? Like buddy movies.
Harold and Kumar.
Yes, I was
Chuck
gonna say
and
Dumb and
Larry.
Dumber to start with. Chuck and Larry,
Dumb and
right?
Dumber, Chuck and Larry.
Yeah,
Such
But
good
then-
Dumb was a
movies,
good
man.
one.
Then you could get into it, and there's like 21 Jump Street. That was some funny ass shit. That was some
21
bro,
Jump
yeah,
Street.
I
shit.
just recently
Rush
watched
Hour,
it, and
Rush
I
Hour
watched
That was-
2.
21 Jump Street was
Oh.
actually one too, where I have to say him and Jonah Hill did justice on the sequel. Like that was a movie
Yeah.
where I very enjoyed both of the movies equally.
both of 'em.
Whereas like the second one didn't suck. You know what I mean? They did
Nah.
that really good.
So, all right, this is not off topic, but when you said the second one didn't suck, for Rush Hour, I thought Rush Hour 2 was a little bit better than Rush Hour 1. And I don't know if you know, but they're coming out with a Rush Hour 4. They're doing one more.
Yeah, I
I did
heard
see
that.
that. I did see that. I wasn't a huge fan of Rush Hour 3. Not that I think it was terrible, but I
It
don't
just
think
wasn't
it
as
was
comical.
amazing.
Yeah.
But the first two, yes, both great. I agree with you. The second one was a little better, but the second one is actually like a little more like
Wholeheartedly.
just like personal for me, because at the time when they were shooting Rush Hour 2, and I don't know if either one of you know this, but when they were shooting Rush Hour 2, they did some of the scenes in Caesar's Palace. So you know where when they go in and they see Jeremy Piven and he's like, oh, you got the
Yes.
mochaccino face, that. So when he goes in there, they walk through Caesar's Palace to get into that shop. And my mom and my uncle Steve used to work at this restaurant called Bertolini's. My uncle Steve was a chef. My mom was a waitress there. My mom was there working the day that they were filming Rush Hour 2, like across the way or like whatever, and like saw them like record like the scenes and stuff like over like those couple days or like whatever.
She in the movie?
No, not at
Oh,
all.
dope.
And that's what's
We'll get
funny
some
because
royalties.
but it was just cool because like she was in that area of Caesars when they filmed it and like whatever. So to
It's
me that
cool,
always
man.
just like I don't know, it just always like that movie.
I'm a big fan of that. Let me tell you something real quick. Similarly topic, but the movie Project X. You guys seen that movie?
Such a great movie, man.
Bro, I would literally pay them to let me be an extra in that movie.
Well, you
They
heard
had
that just
so
happened,
much
right?
fun. They had so much fun in that. What do you mean that just
I
happened?
forgot. I knew it. I was gonna say I forgot. Danny's not up on the social medias like that. All he does is his Instagram.
Yeah,
But
what are you
Really?
talking about? I didn't see
so
this.
there was like the YouTube boxing and like YouTubers, TikTokers, whatever. There's this kid, something Adrian or Aiden something or whatever. He was in California and he had like a party like that, like just this week. It was like his birthday or like whatever it was, and he had like so many people there that the cops came and like shut it down, and there was like hundreds of thousands of kids like running through the street and like this and that. It
Hundreds
was
of
like
thousands of kids, Frank.
I mean,
That's
I'm
a
not-
lot.
obviously well,
That's
okay,
a lot.
whatever. I'm
It's a
just
lot of
saying.
fucking
No,
it was
kids,
a lot of-
Frank.
It was like a
You need a
city's
whole
block.
island for
But that's what I'm
that.
saying. It was like a
12
few
people
cities
is a lot
block
for me, Frank.
No, it was like a few cities blocks worth of like a crowd of kids that was like running sporadically through like parks and this and that, and like whatever.
I'll
Like
give you
I'm telling
250,
you,
maybe
It's pretty crazy,
300.
man.
I'm telling you, go look it up. There was thousands of people there.
What's it called?
This kid
'Cause
was
I'm
like
gonna- I'm gonna
famous
check
or
it
like
out later.
whatever. I'll tell you right now, actually. But
Hundreds of thousands of
okay, I'm not saying literally hundreds of thousands, but they said that it was a lot of freaking people. Like, and like I said, I saw the
All right, tell me after. Tell me after.
well, I'm just saying it definitely pertains because you were saying Project X. So I'm sorry, but
It's
why?
a great
So,
fucking movie.
but why? Just because it was such a crazy party and like for that, I'd rather
Well,
like. You know,
I like the way it was
such a
shot
better
too.
movie.
The Hangover was good, but the way that it was filmed also, where it was, you felt like you were part of that movie, you know, and that's similar to what's the movie? Motherfucker, I just watched it. The kid gets telekinesis, or he can move shit with his mind. I forgot the
Gotta be more
name of
specific.
it.
There's a few movies like that.
No, but he's filming it through his film camera. It's more of an experimental movie, something like that.
Oh,
You know what I'm
they go
talking
in the
about.
little hole. It's got Michael B.
Yes.
Jordan in it.
Yes, Michael B. Jordan. What's it called?
Oh my god, what's that movie, bro? It's a really good freaking movie. And it's it's like filmed in like second or third person. What do you call that? Like, from,
Yes,
like,
where
kid, he's
it's
got his
from
own
the
video camera.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you right now. All right,
Dude,
let me
that's
see what it
actually a
is.
great movie. I forgot about that movie.
It was. I
Oh.
loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
It's got the kid from Fantastic Four in it. Actually, Michael B. Jordan is in
Chronicle.
Fantastic Four.
Chronicle.
Chronicle. Holy
That was
crap.
good. That was a good movie.
I gotta
That
write
was-
that down. I gotta remember that.
You gotta
Chronicle's a
remember
great
that.
movie.
So Chronicle actually kind of fits into. Would that be like considered a fantasy, or is that sci-fi? You know,
That's sci-fi.
Damn it! I don't want to read this.
what's
I
up?
think
Why does it say
100%
50
is
people? We'll get into sci-fi.
The
Go ahead,
video
tell us.
looked a lot more like that. This, but
Yeah,
anyway,
but
so
it's probably like 100 kids.
Not
dubbed
even.
Adrian's Kickback. The party at Huntington Beach was declared an unlawful assembly by police, who arrested 149 people, including 121 adults and 28 juveniles, for alleged offenses such as vandalism, illegal fireworks, or whatever. But that's just how many they arrested.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, it was like a TikTok hit. He's a 17-year-old kid that was in Huntington Beach. Here, over the weekend, more than 2,000 party goers converged along the pier downtown.
Couple 100,000.
All right.
So
all
this
right.
kid had his own ultra music festival at Huntington Beach, California.
He had a mini Project X, 2,000 people. You could have went there.
I
in
don't
Huntington
think a
Beach.
17-year-old was able to.
I still rather have been on the movie set of Project X than that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you look up Adrian's Kickback, it like that's a real thing that happened. Like Project X was a movie.
Well, yeah, I guess that's where the influence came from. Maybe he watched and he's like, I want to do that.
Well, that goes back to like even like with video games or whatever, but like you watch your kids or something like that, let watch like, you know, certain dark comedies or things like that you wouldn't want them to see, or like something else like that's, you know, bad or whatever, because it influences them like to have a
I
party.
guess so. Well, so then here's the thing. And
Danny
we
grew
can
up wanted
touch
to watch
more on this.
Project X, and now he goes to the clubs throughout like his.
No, it was
20s.
American Pie all day. Now I love the smell of apple pie. I'm like, that's a good question. But now, are people influenced by movies? Or are movies influenced by people?
Both. 100% both.
Well,
What
let's
kind of
touch
trick
back on-
question shit is that?
No, because there's certain people, again, this goes back to like depends on the person. There's certain people that influence movies because obviously people that make movies and this and that, and certain
Real
things
quick.
that where they influence them in a way.
Mark
But
Wahlberg and Entourage. Continue.
yes, okay, exactly. And then on the flip side, you have, you know, movies that inspire, like put it this way though, like I know this isn't to the same thing on the same scale, but like anytime I watch a UFC fight, Karen will tell you I'm in my house and I'm like, or like, you know, like I'll watch like a
People who've
dance
seen Rocky
like-
want to go beat the shit out of their friend Frank. I get
or
it.
like I watch like a dance movie and like I'll be like into that shit that night or like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so
You
yes,
gonna
I
throw some
definitely
Grease
Like
moves
signing
down
up for dance lessons.
Grease. I'm more like Step Up, Stomp the Yard, like, you know, that type of.
Oh,
But I'm just, it's like more, I love my romantic comedies. I'm not gonna lie. I do.
rom-coms are good. How to
I
Lose a Guy
love
in
my
10
ro-
Days is good.
Great. No, what's the one?
I hate.
Oh my
romantic
God.
comedy.
Oh
You
my
don't like
God, I can't
romantic
think of
comedy?
it.
So what? So wait, Frank. I'm sorry. Joe, you don't like
What are we talking about? Like
romance
forgetting
movies?
Sarah Marshall,
No, that's. I
Or
mean,
what?
yes and no, but it's more.
right?
It's
That's
not
as
a
far as
comedy
I'll
guy.
go. That's
Are you
my
not-
limit.
So here we go. Are you not a romance type of guy? Not to say you're not romantic, but
Nah.
like your movies.
Oh, I'll romance the shit
Like-
out of you, Danny.
I'll take it. Like romance movies, intimate relationships. You know, having like a darker twist to it, or like some like Romeo
like
and
Dirty
Juliet
Dancing type
for
shit.
me.
Oh, yeah.
Romeo and Juliet for me is probably my favorite romance
Really?
movies. Yes.
Oh.
By Baz Luhrmann. He does The Great
Cornball.
Gatsby. He did Moulin Rouge. Those are
I didn't like
darker
Gatsby.
romance
Man. I don't even
movies
like
with the
that
dark,
movie.
I'm sorry, darker
See-
twisted romance movies.
I'm not gonna say it was my favorite, but I just have to throw it out there because it's most people's favorite and it's so famous. But like a lot of people love The Notebook. But
Okay.
but me personally, I
stupid
can't think
movie.
of the name right now. I don't know why.
Who's in
But
it?
the movie is it's her best friend. He works at a bar. And she
It's a
like
comedy?
goes to him. It's a romantic comedy. She goes
Okay.
to him for advice all the time and stuff, and he like gives her advice, whatever. But she ends up falling for him, and he doesn't really like her like that. Like they're like friends, but then he ends up falling for her, and I can't think of
Oh,
what it's
the one where
called
they
right now.
dance on the bar.
Yeah, they do.
Danny, what is that
Um,
movie?
I can't think of what
Something-
it's called though.
Something Wolf or Wolf something.
No,
fucking-
no. He's just not that into you. That's it.
Oh, with Gerard Butler.
Oh.
And
I love that movie. Karen
Dude,
made me.
yeah.
She just said it to me too to remind me, but she made me watch that movie a long time ago, and I
doesn't work at a
fell
bar?
in love with that movie. That's one of my favorites.
he's like a hitch in the
No,
movie.
he works at a bar. He's like a manager of the bar. He has the office back there, like whatever. He works at a bar. Trust me, I'm telling you. Go back and watch the movie.
I thought you were
again.
talking
No,
about
I'm thinking-
Coyote Ugly.
I'm
That's
thinking-
what I
Oh,
thought. you were
Coyote
talking
Ugly
about.
is another good one though. That is a good
That's
one.
what I thought you were talking about,
That-
man.
well, she works at the bar in that one, not him.
Okay, whatever. Either way, somebody worked at a bar. They were dancing on the bar.
No, see, that's what is that with Ben Affleck and Jennifer
Affleck.
Aniston, Jennifer Connelly. See, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking of wow, fuck. All right, I don't know. Anyways, I'm not gonna remember.
We're really hitting the.
We're hitting the nail on the hammer. Nope, the
that's just-
hammer
that-
on the
put it
nail.
this way.
That's what we're doing.
Put it this way, that's how many good romantic comedies are out there. And that's what I'm saying. Like I really do have to say I enjoy romantic comedies. Oh, but one of my favorites too is Bradley Cooper and what's her name? Lady Gaga. Star is Born. You kidding me?
You know,
never
that was
seen it. Heard it
actually
was
that was a Bette Midler
amazing.
movie. That was
Dude.
remade. Were you
yeah,
familiar
no,
with
actually before that it's been remade like 3 or 4 times. That movie was actually originally made in like the 60s.
Not Bette Midler, Barbara Streisand. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're
That's what I
right.
meant to say.
But before they made it, that's what I'm saying. That was actually originally made in like the 50s or the 60s. That movie's old.
Really?
Yeah, it's been remade like 3 or 4 times.
How
But
about Ghost?
Okay.
Would you
Time
consider
out. I
Ghost
was
a
thinking about
rom-com?
The Ugly Truth
Absolutely.
with Gerard Butler and Katherine Heigl.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
a good
okay.
movie.
That was a good movie.
That was a good
Catherine Heigl,
rom-com.
That was in like her heyday.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
Sorry.
seen that
Go
one.
ahead.
No, I don't know if I've seen that one.
Where's she been, Catherine Heigl?
I don't know. Let me call her real quick.
I used to love her, man. Oh,
Oh,
She was
and then
good.
see, it's funny because sorry.
Haha, funny.
No, but romantic comedies, like to me, and it's funny because I love my stand up, but I wouldn't count stand up as like movies. You know what I mean?
Well,
Those
that's
are more
like
like
sketch comedy, though.
well,
like
but
that.
no
Like
sketch
Key and
comedy.
Peele, Chappelle Show. That's not.
Sketch comedy to me is more like Super Troopers and like stuff like that.
That's
to,
more
like
parody, though. I would think, in my opinion.
parody of what though?
Jackass.
Well,
that's
no, you're
sketch
right
comedy.
because like Spaceballs would be a parody off Star Wars.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. Like that,
Well-
like Super Troopers was a sketch comedy to me. Stand up comedy to me would fall more into like not documentaries, but like yeah, like almost like a documentary because it's them live. You know what I mean? But
I
yeah,
feel
to-
like I don't know. I
Dane
mean,
Cook.
you bring up documentary, and I automatically think of like a movie about a specific person or thing, like Bohemian Rhapsody.
but that's what it is.
That-
like
The
you're
movie
listening-
Bohemian Rhapsody. Did you see that? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah,
that movie. No. I was just gonna say, but that's what it is to me. Like you know, like-
Documentary is similar to like biographical, though. Is that not one and the same, or are those different? Because
I think-
biographical is true events, but with a skew on it, and documentary is that like just real events.
well, I think they both could fit, like because how you said like subgenres.
Okay, because there's like sports movies that
You
could
know,
be
like because there's
documentary or
documentaries about like Jeffrey
biographical.
Epstein and this and that, but then you have ones about the ocean. You have things about sports, like you said, Michael Jordan just had one, like this and
Yeah,
that, whatever.
that's true.
And then like you have, you know, like other like I said, but then to me, a comedian getting up on stage and saying whatever he wants to say, that's
That's just not stand up though. That's because that would
Stand
be
up
different than
comedy,
movies.
right? What do you?
So,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I guess it counts as his own. Well, because he didn't have it up here on like with the different things from what I was looking at when I was reading, and I was like, oh, sketch comedy. And then he said, well, stand up would fall in there, but I don't know.
Well-
To me, like stand up doesn't fall as sketch comedy.
Right, but as far as film genre goes, I think that's just like for like movies and stuff, like like Eddie Murphy Raw or Delirious. That's a stand-up comedy, but it's a movie, so I would. You could. That's obviously
Yeah, you
under
would
the
count it as a
category of
movie? See,
cable.
I don't know. I don't think of stand-ups as movies like that. So to sketch comedy to me would be like different. I don't know.
Right, but sketch comedy is like a Chappelle show. You
Yeah,
know?
but that was
I
a
don't
TV
think-
show.
But I don't think there's any movies involved in sketch comedy. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I
but-
guess not.
'Cause
Let us know
then-
if you think there is.
Yeah. It's,
All right.
back
So
to
what
I was
about?
saying though, real quick.
sorry.
I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
No. I was gonna go into a new thing. So go ahead.
I was gonna jump into what I said a second ago about like how documents and biographical movies kind of are one and the same for the most part, similar. Have you guys seen Bohemian Rhapsody or Rocket Man? The
I did not
Queen
see
of
Rocket
Elton
Man.
I
John?
love those biography like movies where like it's like real. Like this is like, you know,
So
Mhm.
I wanted to bring
So
this up
good.
earlier. Is Rocket Man is about Elton John? It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's as good as Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody was fantastic, but one of my favorite movies,
Phenomenal.
or two of my favorite, involving music into like a biographical would be Get Rich or Die Trying with 50 Cent, and obviously
So
8 Mile. 8 Mile for me is probably top
Both
5
of those movies
I've
for
ever
you are-
seen.
Both those movies for you are on that list though, just because they were coming out as you were growing up. Definitely, you know what I mean?
Okay, but
Because-
have you
Whatever
seen
it is,
8 Mile?
though.
Like,
no, I know,
it's
no, I know, I
timeless.
love them both. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like it's just funny because I was expecting you to say something else when you said about like music or like this and that, and
I
you're like
mean,
those were
we
the
can go
two,
with
and they're both
Grease.
like kind of like go into each other, both rap movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same, well, that's like biographical, where it's about them, real events, and how they kind of came to. Whereas, if I'm gonna pick a musicals, it's gonna be like Grease or like Annie and shit like that. Fucking La La Land was amazing. If you haven't
Newsies.
seen that, Newsies
was
was
a good
really good
movie.
too.
That's my favorite
Or
musical
like
of all
The
time.
Wiz, you know, shit like that. Greatest Showman is a good one,
You know, The
Okay.
Beauty and the Beast is technically a musical.
bro. All of Disney is basically.
All
Well, yeah, I
Disney's
guess that's
musical.
true. Actually, yeah, that's true. But I didn't know that. Somebody said something about being musical, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, well, I guess they do sing a lot of the stuff. So like, yeah, I didn't
Dude,
realize
they're
that.
singing in all of it. Speaking of which, have you seen Hamilton?
No,
Bro,
I've heard
yo,
great
I
things
hate
about it
that
though.
movie.
Wait,
Really?
I hate it.
How
I
do you
can't.
hate it?
I watched
heard
it on
great
Disney,
things.
man. And
It's on
I
Disney
just
Plus.
fucking, I don't
Yo.
know what possessed all these people to spend the
Frank,
money they spend and for
it's a
that show
play,
to
right?
be.
It's
Yeah,
a play,
it's horrible.
but
It's
Fun
terrible.
fact, I've never seen a
not
Broadway play.
horrible.
It's
Never
so
seen a Broadway
terrible.
play.
Never.
Start with it. Well, I don't want to say start with
No.
this one because
If I was gonna start with
Definitely
one, I wanna
don't start
Lion
with
King.
No, no, no.
Hamilton.
All
I
right,
wanted to start with the
Joe,
Lion King if I was gonna go to one, but I never did.
tickets are like 180, bro. Good luck. And there's not even Broadway going on. But listen, the way Hamilton filmed this, he filmed it
Horrible.
for television. Joe, what do you mean horrible? Yo, the whole movie is singing, and it's got you will see and you will hear.
There's a
and you
lot
will
of movies where the
feel
whole movie is singing.
Eminem
That it's
and
good. I'm gonna take
Biggie
Joe's
and
word. for it.
Wu-Tang, and I'm in his words of what he's saying and the style of him rapping certain songs and singing certain songs. You hear this from the characters. I'm telling you, it's a great.
They like rap the whole. It's like they're rapping about
dope.
like
It's
Benjamin
dope.
Franklin and shit. It's not
bro,
dope.
it's
at all.
dope. Stop.
It's
Listen,
so far from dope, Frank.
first of all,
Dope was
hated
like
it.
SpongeBob SquarePants was
Stop.
fucking really good.
Fuck
Okay,
SpongeBob
Wait, what?
SquarePants.
Beetlejuice was dope, bro. Go see
Alright.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice was dope. He just said SpongeBob SquarePants. I can't stand SpongeBob.
I fucking
Oh,
hate
bro,
that.
the
movie.
musical was
I
really
hate
good.
SpongeBob.
The
Oh,
Broadway
yeah,
show
years
was so
ago.
good.
Oh, I
The
didn't-
Broadway
I
show
didn't
was
say
so
that.
good. So
Listen,
good.
Frank, all I'm saying is I hated Hamilton at first, and then I watched it again, and then I watched it again, and it's
Oh wait, so
pretty
you
dope.
watced it a couple times before you
People-
thought it was
people
dope.
twice.
Joe
The
just
second
told
time-
me that it was horrible. I don't wanna
You
go
might
watch
like
three
it.
times.
Listen,
I'm good.
you like that.
I'm
You like that
I'm
stuff.
just saying.
You
The
might like
second
it.
time I saw
I
it, it
didn't
was
like
dope. It's a crazy style. It's good, but like, obviously, as a musical, it doesn't
I see Frank
compare
liking
to
that.
Grease or La La Land because there's more of a story to it. This is a play opposed to a movie, you know. But then
Gotcha.
again, you get a lot of music and great scores from movies. Like, for instance, let's jump into this for a second. Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On, is like romance, but yeah, Titanic, dude.
Oh,
that
God.
movie
Yeah, but
was
not
a
even
Just
that.
the line,
blockbuster.
that
Even
whole
though-
soundtrack, bro. That movie is.
Even though that song was big for that movie, it's or no, actually, I'm sorry, not that one in specific. But there's so many songs like that like are made for one movie, but then used for so many others too. You know what I mean? Like I was gonna say that one, but that one's actually not. I think that actually is only in that movie. But there's so
Titanic, yeah.
yeah, but there is actually so many other songs where like it'll be made for a specific movie, and then exactly it was such a hit that they'll use
Right.
it again in other
They can
movies
use it
later
again
on.
for other shit. So
Absolutely.
that's a good segue into would that be considered historical or
100%.
romance? Because there's things like
Oh,
it's romance, of
Yeah.
course.
double
but
genre, bro.
subgenre, yeah, because you have Titanic where it's
Subgenre.
the story of the Titanic sinking, but then it's a love story within that. You know, because when I think of historical films, I'm thinking of like fucking Apollo 13, you know, or like Pearl Harbor, where those
I
are
was gonna
great
say I thought of
fucking
Pearl
movies.
Harbor, which I know it's like a war movie, but
Pearl Harbor would be a war movie. I would think so.
but it could
War
also
movies are
technic-
some of the
but-
best movies, man.
honestly, yeah, there's so much drama, like
Drama, intensity, it's just everything, bro. It's all around. Like you're on your toes.
Yeah, well, think about it. I think you have
Gory,
to
it's
simulate
heavy.
being in a war. Like, you know, I it's funny because even when I was younger, I thought about it for like a couple years of like when I was like 18, 19 or whatever. And then I just never did it. But like, yeah, I was always scared because think about it, dude. What if you actually get into like going to real war? Like,
I'm not going to war. That's a whole nother topic, bro. I'm not
War
going to
movies,
war.
they show you what it's like. That's as close as you're gonna get to knowing what the
Okay,
fuck it's really
real
like.
that's what I'm
talk.
saying. Like movies like Jarhead, Saving Private
No,
Ryan,
no, no.
like you
Saving
know, like
Private Ryan.
Black
That
Hawk
movie-
Down, bro. Those
or
That
what's the
movie is the
one?
most realistic war movie I've ever seen in my
American
life.
That's
Sniper,
insane.
where Bradley Cooper was a sniper and he shoots the kid at the end or whatever. Dude,
yeah.
that was are you kidding me? I cried. I was bawling at the end of that movie.
So now I guess historical and war movie can go together within the same
Locker.
genre because
Another one.
But
historical
wars are a
is
part
like,
of history.
it's one deals with accurate representations of historical events, and the other one is depicted where it's measured against historical accounts, non-factual, but there can be a perfectly factual account within it. Is that what it says? First-hand experience. So one is specific events, and then the other one is depicted from specific events based on real life events and shit like that.
Gotcha.
You know, so like I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but Saving Private Ryan can be historical, where the battalion had to go and save, like the movie. All right, Band of Brothers on
Yeah.
HBO. Have you guys seen that?
No, I want
Oh
to.
my
though.
god, I have the box set in like the aluminum box set.
Tin?
How many
Yo.
box sets do you have?
Joe's got. I'm
Dude,
telling
every
you,
box set that
Blockbuster
I've heard him
went-
say it a
listen.
few times.
Blockbuster, went
Blockbuster
out
came
of,
to us when they needed movies.
They went out of business because of Joe. I'm telling you, this kid doesn't even know the movies he has.
That's funny.
Yeah, I probably couldn't even tell you half of them.
That's funny. Oh man.
So
Yeah, man, it's
it's
crazy. I gotta show
situations
you
like
one
that.
yeah, for
yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I would love to see that. Just because you being a huge
Bro,
movie
he's
buff.
got them boxed up now. He doesn't even know. I still want Bedknobs and Broomsticks if he finds it ever. Because I know
Dude,
you're not watching
I
that
never
shit.
gave it to you, huh?
You gave Darren the Godfather collection, but you didn't give me Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Speaking of which, actually, quick shout out though. I know this is a TV show, not a movie or whatever, but just because it's coming back for so long, I can't wait. Friends tomorrow reunion. Oh,
Oh,
That's right,
I thought you were gonna say
HBO
something
Max.
else.
I'm so excited.
I thought you were
Dexter,
gonna say
man. I thought you were gonna talk
Sopranos.
about Dexter or
Oh,
something.
Dexter too.
No,
Oof, I'm so
only because it's
excited for that,
tomorrow,
bro.
and I've been waiting for this for like a couple years now.
Nice.
It better not be corny like they did with what's that Full House?
I
That was
know.
corny
No,
as
I
hell.
think this is gonna be just like them bullshitting and hanging out. It's a couple.
Yeah, it's
couple
supposed to be
episodes, right?
10 years later.
Yeah, but I think they do like an episode.
No, I don't think they do an episode. I think
No?
it's them.
Oh.
If I'm not mistaken,
They just
I
hang
think
out.
it's them.
talking?
It's like table talk. Yeah.
No, I thought it was supposed to be episodes, like of 10 years later. Of like, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be episodes.
I don't know. I could.
I
be
know
wrong.
they're gonna do it where they're all sitting down talking, but I'm pretty sure they have like an episode to quote, like
Yeah.
10
Oh,
years
let's
later, like
see.
you said.
Yeah, because that's what the poster said was 10 years later. But all right, so I'm
Well,
sorry, but we kind of
it's okay.
got off topic because of that.
I wanted to bring something up quick because we talked about historical events, war movies, Saving Private Ryan, Pearl Harbor, Fury. Those are probably my top three. But as far as historical events like Apollo 13, that's going to lead into science fiction because I'm a huge science fiction fan. I love any movie having to do with outer space. The movie Aliens, the movie Event Horizon, the movie Sphere, any of that shit that's like out in the unknown where we don't know what's out there. So it's people's depictions of it. 2001 Space Odyssey. These movies are so far out into outer space that it really makes you question what the fuck goes on out there. And anybody could be making things up because as Joe knows, aliens don't exist. But at the same time, I do feel like there's so much that people can get into when it comes to outer space. And
Let me ask Danny,
what's up?
have you ever seen the movie Prometheus?
Okay, here's real quick. So I'm at work. And
You have to watch that movie
Yes.
because
I'm gonna
it
explain
is
to you right
like-
now. Me and Chesney, shout out Chesney. What's up, boy? Thanks for listening.
What up, Chaz?
When we're hanging out, we watch movies occasionally when we have the time, and we've watched all of the movies in order from Alien to Predator, Aliens 2, Aliens 3, Predator vs. Alien, all this shit. We have 2 left to complete the 12 movie series. Prometheus is the second to last one. That is the next movie. Is Prometheus and then Alien Covenant. So I'm fucking
Yes.
hyped about it. Please don't spoil
Alien
it for me.
Covenant is like
Please don't spoil
a
it for me.
continuing of Prometheus. And it's dope because it's supposed to be
So
like
I've heard
how
really good
aliens
things.
actually started, bro.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, bro, let me tell you, I'm not gonna ruin it. I would love to get into it right now, but Prometheus is such a good movie. And I will tell you, like in the beginning, though, they're like searching for like who the creators of humans are, like in Earth.
Right.
And it kind of like you are gonna love it because you love that shit. And
I
it's
would love to
based
talk
off
to you on
of
a
like
whole separate topic
actual.
about that.
I know, but you're gonna love this movie, bro. You gotta see.
All
that
right, I'm gonna
ASAP.
check it out. Prometheus. Now, is that
Oh.
science fiction?
No. I mean, like,
Yeah,
yeah. I
it's
guess.
science fiction. Yes.
Well, I guess it would kind of go with horror a little bit too, though. But that's because I was gonna say, like, Alien was one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Like, it's up there in like the top 10, and it really was because it was shot so long ago before they had like video editing and like stuff like this and whatever. And the way it was shot with like the scenes of not showing certain things or whatever, it was so dark and like it really was like, to me, it was one
was
of my
creepy,
favorites of
yeah.
all time.
There was a lot of
definitely up
jump
there.
moments.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. So it definitely falls into that, and it goes back to like that subgenre category. But yes, it definitely goes into more science fiction because aliens aren't real. You know what I mean?
Okay, take it
Well,
easy.
I mean, like
No,
in
I
the
get what
sense
you're
of like
saying.
in that
Listen,
context. Like, I think
hypothetically
there's some
speaking,
type
I'm
of
just
living cell
saying.
somewhere else.
But look, as far as science fiction goes, that includes like the whole Star Wars genre. And so, real quick, because I do want
Oh,
to
Star Wars.
subcategorize science fiction, right? A lot of James Cameron movies are science fiction, but there's post-apocalyptic science fiction, such as like 12 Monkeys, 28 Days Later. There's cyberpunk, like Blade Runner and Elysium. If you guys haven't seen Elysium, it's very good. It's fucking,
Yeah,
it's
it's
mind
such a good
bending,
movie.
pretty good. There's steampunk, like Mortal Engines. I haven't seen the movie, but I know it's very futuristic slash back in the day, if you will. It's a whole different category. There's tech noir, like Terminator, Terminator 2,
Mhm.
space opera, which is what all this we were just talking about would categorize into, like The Fifth Element, Aliens, Event Horizon, any shit that happens outside of Earth, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Contemporary, which the movie Ex Machina. Have you seen that?
Ex Machina.
No, I never seen it. Ex
Oh,
Machina.
sorry,
That's how you
bro.
say it.
My bad.
Gotta
It's
say
not
it right.
Machina.
man.
It's Ex Machina.
It's
That's how you say it.
Machina.
Are
Machina.
you sure though?
That's how you say it.
Positive.
So that was a really good one. Did you guys both see that?
I have a long time, or whenever
When it first came out, I
Yeah,
think?
one time.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
I-
So not enough to where I would remember.
No. It was interesting. It had a really great concept. For anybody who hasn't seen it, I would suggest it. Again, another mind fuck, but also like, holy shit, could this happen? Yeah, it could. And then there's like military science fiction, like
All right,
Starship Troopers. Speaking of Starship Troopers, real quick.
Starship
Wait, no.
Troopers, man.
Pause real quick. Joe, you're right. He would believe everything. He would believe everything.
Everything.
The way he just said,
Danny
he's like, because that could
believes
happen. And I was
anything you
like,
tell him.
Bro, you're telling me that AI can't control
Nothing's
the world?
impossible.
Stop
No,
it. After
Danny.
humans becomes AI,
You know,
that's the
isn't
bottom
it gonna
line.
suck,
after
Danny?
it happens, because it hasn't happened.
Isn't it?
Not
Isn't
yet.
it gonna suck? You're gonna go through your whole life, bro, to just pass off and not get the answers to any of this shit. Because you're
Listen,
not.
man.
The
You're
day
never
I
gonna get
pass
any of
on,
these
I will get
answers.
all of the answers. That is
Okay, maybe,
And I'm gonna
maybe,
catch you
maybe.
guys on another planet in another galaxy, and I'm just gonna meet you in like 5th grade and be like, "Yo,
Fucking
motherfucker,
multiverse.
I was right. I was right. I was right.
come on, I was right."
I'm going
No.
to a different planet, bro, and I'm gonna be the
Yeah.
alien invading
Listen,
your
man.
planet.
That's
I'm gonna
it, right?
follow you. I'm gonna be the resilience. No, the resistance. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna be the John
Resistance?
Connor of the motherfucking
Oh my god.
alien invasion. Ain't
No.
happening. Forget
So
about it.
when you said post-apocalyptic though too, I thought of, and don't get me wrong, because 28 Days Later was such a great movie.
Yeah.
But what's the one
Kinda
with those two
happening-
guys that are from like England or British or whatever that like
Oh,
remade it? It was like the
fucking-
spoof comedy one. It was like
Not
not Zombieland.
No.
It was,
Zombieland was funny too. It was with the guy who did Hot Fuzz. and,
Yes.
yeah.
with the red hair.
yeah.
He's like
Shaun
skinny
of
and
the
then they all
Dead.
shove it. Yeah, Shaun of the Dead.
of the
Oh
Dead.
my god,
Shaun
that
of the Dead.
and it's funny because again, I don't really like the spoof comedies. I didn't like the scary movie or like stuff like that. But Shaun of the Dead
They
was
hit it- they hit it
hilarious. They are
Yeah.
just funny. They are great. Shout out to you guys.
Oh man, that was a good one.
No, yeah, I do. I love that.
A lot of this science fiction stuff stems from like the fear of the unknown and things of that sort. And I feel like this is a good segue into like thrillers. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because people who are all about the thrillers, it's a fucking mind game, man. That shit fucks you up.
absolutely. Mhm.
Psychological thrillers are probably my my favorite, if not my second favorite type of movie film
See,
genre.
For me, it's a sci-fi thriller, but I guess it's also considered romance because Star Wars is actually considered technically a sci-fi thriller because you have like the Darth Maul, Darth Vader,
Oh,
and
yeah,
all that, where, like
100%.
because you have the villains and stuff. So you definitely
on the
have that in there.
villains.
But then you also have the romance because you have like, Anakin fall in love with Padme, and then you have like Luke Skywalker I'm sorry, not Luke Skywalker, Han Solo and Leia. But like, so yeah, there's like, you know what I mean? It has all that. But dude, I'm sorry, I had to say it because just when you mentioned Star Wars and when you said sci-fi, like that was definitely my favorite. And even like growing up, I saw like the first couple, and then I kind of got out of it for a few years. And then like even recently with the Mandalorian and stuff, I've gone back and rewatched so much. And then even
Star
now,
Wars, you talking about?
yeah. Oh, now with Mandalorian came out, I rewatched all the movies. I watched Mandalorian twice, and then I was like running out of stuff to watch. So like I've been trying to get like my kids into it too. So they have the animated, the Clone Wars, and the Clone Wars is cool because it goes in between movies
animated.
2 and 3. Yeah, it's animated, but it goes
Touch on
in
animated.
between.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all right. Well, just real quick, it goes in between movies 2 and 3, and it's nice because it explains a lot of stuff. Because like when you see from 2 to 3, and you see like Anakin is like this kid, and then it's like so many years later, and he's like grown up, and it's like, whoa, wait, what? And like it explains a lot of why he was the way he was. Because when those movies were made, a lot of the things that people say is, I hate how Anakin grew up and he was like a spoiled little bitch, or like it's not, he was like a temper tantrum type of thing, and like whatever, because he was, but he had reasons for that because of how they treated him for so long through the Clone Wars and this and that. So honestly, I'm really enjoying it. It really is good.
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up.
Yeah,
To get into mother fucking animated movies real quick, because you had brought it up that Clone Wars was animated. If we could take it back a notch, there's
3
this
parsecs.
show- yeah. When I say animated, there's again subgenres of it, like stop motion, claymation, hand-drawn animation, puppetry, CGI, and live action. I got to touch on 2 things here. The first one, if you guys have to watch this show on Netflix, it's called Love, Death, and Robots. Joe, you would love it.
I seen it.
Have you seen it? There's a second. The
Yes.
second season is out. There's only like
Yes, I didn't see the second one
episodes.
though.
There's 13 episodes. They're maybe 8 to 12 minutes each. And dude, the animation within these several episodes
Incredible,
is
right?
beyond, like, I can't believe
Yeah,
it's
some
animated.
very
Sometimes I think
talented
it's
people,
real.
man.
It's crazy.
Mhm.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of psychological shit that goes on through these episodes as well. Good motherfucking show. Love, Death, and Robots. Check that out. Back to what you said earlier about animation or musical was Beauty and the Beast and Disney. These are movies that we grew up with and sculpted us to kind of be who we are today, you know? Like, I don't want to say The Damsel in Distress or like Prince Charming, but a lot of these movies taught me values as a kid, and you're growing up with them. You're watching things like The Lion King, Little Mermaid, which was the very end of 1989, Frank. It wasn't 90s, but it was the end of 1989.
It was the way they capped off the 80s, bro. I
They
told you
did.
that. Me and Danny were talking about this earlier because we were talking about like maybe getting into like different decades and like stuff like that because we did the
He
90s and
specifically
whatever.
said Disney movies of the 80s.
Well, I said, I was like,
I
well,
thought
there were
of
so many
Roger
good Disney
Rabbit.
movies in the 80s. And he's like, no, there wasn't. And so he looked it up. And they really were mostly in the 90s. There was, you know, some, but not ones that like really like we thought we like that I thought we knew. And he goes, okay, Little Mermaid was 89 in like November. I'm like, yeah,
November
because they
89.
ended the
That doesn't
80s with one of the
count.
best Disney movies out there. I love The Little Mermaid. I mean,
Yeah,
Beauty and the
but
Beast is still my
it's-
favorite, but Little
Oh,
Mermaid,
is my shit.
top 5, like, you know what I mean? For sure. It's got one of the
gotta
best
buy it.
soundtracks
Definitely.
out there besides
I
the
love
Moana.
Moana. All right.
Love
Mo-
it. Moana's
I
newer,
think-
so it's different to me. But like,
Yeah.
I love the Moana soundtrack. It's so amazing. So good.
So those animation movies are pretty interesting, and they spun off a lot of it with like Robot Chicken when they started doing like TV shows and stuff like that with claymation
Oh,
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
Cutout was very big with South Park.
Celebrity
They do that.
Deathmatch.
Celebrity Deathmatch.
What was that? What was that one animation cartoon? I think it was on Cartoon Network. It was like called Kaboom or something, or Kazam.
I
Oh
don't
my
know what
God,
you're talking about.
Kablam!
I'll figure it. Kablam.
Kablam! I know what you're talking about.
You know
Yes,
what I'm
I
talking
see
about?
the thing. I saw the
Kablam,
word.
bro,
It came up
yes.
across the screen. Yeah, you're right. I
Yeah.
do remember that. Wow, how do you remember that? That's like
Dude, come on.
that's like one of those like
man.
remember when we were talking about 90s and we were talking about like cartoons and stuff like that that came out and we went into like the
Space
Robot
Ghost.
Chicken
I
and,
used to love
and
all
like
that
yeah, there was
shit.
like those little side ones that like not everybody remembers that came on like once a week for like 30 minutes on that one day time slot. Like that's one of those
Kablam.
that Joe just threw out there.
I've never seen this
Kablam.
before. I
Kablam.
just Googled it.
It was like
Kablam, man.
K-A-B-L-A-A-A.
Yeah, no, I
something
see
like
it.
that.
Yeah,
Kablam.
yeah.
Don't. When did this?
You don't
come out?
remember that shit, huh?
No
It was
way.
90s.
On
It's
Nickelodeon.
1998.
Yeah, it was 90s. That's funny. I can't believe you
98.
remember that.
It's
That
actually
was-
96, but that's okay.
Okay. You win.
I love it.
Scotchy, Scotch.
No,
Down
but
in
for
my
me,
belly.
I mean, and again, I know it wasn't a movie; it was more of a TV show. But I loved Celebrity Deathmatch. That was the favorite.
That was a good one. man. That was a
Claymation.
good one.
Oh, such a good-
animation.
because it
man.
had
That
the movie
was so
stars
fun,
and
bro.
musicians and whatever, but you had
Yeah.
actors and actresses in there and stuff. So it was still
It was
I guess
funny. That was
applies.
good shit.
Oh hell yeah!
That was some good comedy. Now,
Yeah,
would that be
absolutely.
considered sketch comedy?
Yes, absolutely. because
All right, so there we go.
that was mini sketches that they wrote up for for each fight in with two artists that they made up some scenario. You know what I mean? Like those fights weren't real, although some of the
they're
beefs
still
were based
doing-
on.
I thought I could have.
Bro, if they remade that show and they brought it back, please let me know where to watch it because I used no joke. That's a show that I
I'm
would watch
pretty
every
sure
week.
they
I
are.
loved
Bro.
that
Celebrity
show.
Deathmatch.
Oh, I loved that show. I honestly, now that we're talking about it, I might even go back and watch like YouTube videos of the old ones just because that show was
Just
awesome.
because
Oh, that show was great.
it was a good show. That show was fucking hilarious. I did love it.
Heck yes. So how about this? I mean, just because we've gone through a bunch now, I know we still have a couple to go through. But
Well, before I'm sorry, I just want to finish up on Thriller a little bit. But if you have something to
no,
say,
no.
go ahead.
Before we get into thriller and horror,
Speak your
'cause I do.
piece.
I want to get into thriller and horror more like towards the end because I know that we can go on that for a little bit. And horror is like probably my favorite, and that's
Oh,
kind of
no.
getting into this. That's my answer. What is your favorite movie genre? Because that's what I would say. Mine is horror by far.
Okay.
Fantasy.
You like fantasy?
I love fantasy.
What's your
genre,
favorite
bro.
fantasy movie?
Oh, Harry Potter by far.
Harry Potter.
Fantastic
okay.
Beasts and Where to Find Them. I'm all about that shit, bro.
Joe, where do you find
Love
them?
it. Do I find what?
You
Where
find
do you
aliens.
find your Fantastic Beasts? You can find aliens within
Oh,
yourself. bro, I'm
Fantastic
telling
Beasts and
you.
Where to Find Them? Nah.
He's basically just
Nah.
like making fun because you believed in something that was like not real. I think.
No, it has nothing to do.
Oh,
with
I know,
Oh,
but
I
that's
thought
why
that's
I
where you're going
like.
with that.
Oh,
Not
I
this
was gonna
time
say because
frame.
that's why I like fantasy movies, bro. It'd be cool if shit like that was real.
It would
It's
be
not.
really fucking cool.
Truth is, it's not.
He's so-
You know?
Oh man. All right. So what about you, Danny? What's your favorite genre?
I would love to agree with Joe with fantasy, but I'm going to switch it up. You guys know I'm a huge movie buff. Huge movie buff. There's no way I could just say, oh, I like this better than this. First of all, I'm going to say
Gun
that.
to your head. Pick one genre.
Fucking shoot me, honestly, because
No.
look, it's going to go between.
Dude,
look,
just pick one.
listen. I can't because, like,
I feel like this is him.
hypothetically,
I was
if
gonna say
there
I feel
was-
like this is him when I wouldn't answer the question now on
Pick-
purpose.
Pick two.
Pick
If I had
two?
to pick two, mine would be
Done.
horror and fantasy.
If I
There you
can
go.
pick
I
three,
mean-
I'll pick three right now.
Okay,
three.
Dave, pick three.
All right. Comedy, psych thrillers, action.
In that order.
There you go.
Yes. In that
So
order.
comedy's number
Oh
one.
my God, Frank, why you
Comedy's
gotta
number
push
one.
it, bro?
Has to
Just
Because we just
accept the
figured it out.
answers.
Like.
What do you mean?
Because I said in that order, so you said yes. So that
Nothing.
means comedy is number one.
Fuck you, because also I like psych thrillers. And
You
I
could like them, just not as much as you like comedy, because that's what your number one.
but I also love horror. Like, it depends the mood I'm in. If I want to feel like someone's
That's a
watching
good
me,
answer. That's
then
a
I'll be
good
like,
answer.
let me throw on Halloween. But if I want to laugh, bro, laughing is so healthy and good for you. I love laughing. It's probably one of the best things in the world.
No, see, I hear that because honestly, I feel like that way with sometimes I just want to like have a good cry, and I know that sounds like whatever, but
No, it is what
like A
it is,
Star
man.
Is
It's
Born, like
eventually
that's why I
you
threw that
cry.
movie out there before. Like that movie gets me like every time at the end, like no joke.
Me
And
what?
Joe, I know you said you haven't watched it. Like that is it's a very sad movie. Like read about what it is before like you check it out and stuff. Because every time I watch that movie really, really gets me.
What's
And,
the last movie you watched that made you cry?
A Star Is Born, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Danny,
swear to God.
what about you, bro? When's the last time
Honestly-
you cried to a movie? What movie
Honestly?
was it? I want to know this. Like,
Avengers Endgame.
yeah, huh?
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I
times.
cried.
I
was
did
saying,
cry
cried
to
like
that movie too, bro.
I cried like
When
3 times.
Tony
in that
died.
movie.
Oh,
Yo.
Yeah. When Tony died, when Spider-Man came back, and when they all came through the circles at the end. But like that was more of like a
No, for me, it was when Scott, what the fuck?
Oh,
Ant-Man,
and
what's
yes,
his
and-
name? And he finally sees his daughter, and he's like,
oh,
"You grew up,
oh,
bro." He was
oh.
gone for like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, that and not even that. And when Black Widow died too, when they were like fighting or
I
whatever.
kind
like,
of knew, I expected that,
yeah,
honestly.
you knew that was gonna
because-
happen, but you didn't want her to be the one. You
No,
wanted
of
him to
course
be the one
not.
to go, and then when it happened, you were like,
I don't know. So that's
that
why
was
like,
definitely
I
an
love
emotional
action
movie.
movies. Those big blockbuster action movies, I love them. From Iron Man in 2008 all the way up
Nothing
to
beats the Marvel
2020.
movies, man.
I
Those
just
are
recently
by
watched
far-
all those in order too.
I really just don't think
Amazing.
anything else tops it. Of
How are
any
you gonna
genre.
beat that, bro?
No,
and there's
Star Wars
more
was
shit
better.
coming out.
Star Wars was definitely better.
No way.
No,
Marvel-
way,
Marvel
bro.
had
I
more-
love Star Wars, man.
I love
There's
Star
no
Wars.
way.
Marvel had more special effects and like certain things
Not
with the
even
fight
that,
scenes,
bro.
but
But
if you're
Dude,
talking
not
about the
even
actual
that. Not
storyline,
even, Frank.
no. If you're talking about the
Frank.
actual storyline, I'm gonna explain why. Star
All right,
Wars
Joe,
had
let's let
so
him
much.
explain, and then
Let's
you
hear
and
him.
I
Yeah, I
can
wanna
double
hear him.
team.
Yeah, and then I'll
Yeah.
hear you out. Star Wars was intertwined for so long, and don't get me wrong, Marvel was too. But for Marvel, you knew what was going on. You knew that like it was, oh, okay, they're fighting.
Not necessarily.
Yes, because
man.
everything
Let him
always went
explain
back to the
because he doesn't know what he's talking
Tesseract.
about.
Okay, everything always
No,
went
I
back to
hear
the
him.
Tesseract or the original source or like whatever. With Star Wars, it kind of did the same thing like with Palpatine and like whatever. But there was so many.
What do you mean
like,
and whatever? Explain what this whatever is, because I'll go into adventures
I mean,
right
'cause-
now with details about it.
No, because it was the same in the sense of what I'm talking about, but also it was different because you had there was so many different like the Clone Wars that
You're
happened, the
saying like
Rebels
sub
that,
stories, like
Yeah,
sub stories.
but not sub stories. Because yes, I know what you're gonna say sub stories would be
No,
like
'cause
Thor's
I was
movie or
gonna
Iron Man's movie or
No, no, no,
whatever.
no. I was just saying like Rogue One, a Star Wars saga, or
Yes,
Han Solo,
there
or
was
the
so many
Mandalorian.
other main character stories within the stories, whereas in the Avengers you had that group of superheroes. You had like those 8
But
to
what
10
do you think they're
superheroes or
doing
whatever.
now, Frank? Do you know how many TV shows are branched off?
Yeah,
Black
but those
Widow's
are
got
TV
her own
shows. That's
movie.
different. You're not talking about the trilogy of
Bro,
the
but they
movies
Wait,
because
wait,
that already
intertwine
ended.
with the movies. It's gonna lead to the next set of
Yeah, but then
the
I could
movie.
say that about
It's another
Mandalorian
phase.
and something else and whatever too. I'm not talking about that.
Right,
I'm
but
saying just the
besides
9
the
movies
fact
or the 11
that
movies because Han Solo and Rogue
doesn't-
One. But just the 11 movies compared to just like the 11 movies, you have their sub stories of their like who superhero things, and then the couple where they fight together. Star Wars was the whole story with all of these different stories throughout the whole thing.
Going
That
on,
was just
right?
and it
I
was
can understand
I
that.
don't know. To me, it was just so much
But that's
more.
But what
do you
I
mean,
think
bro?
is so
every
great about the
Avenger
Avengers
character has
movies-
their own little story.
Sub-story.
Yes, but that's
yeah.
the thing. You knew about the Avengers characters from the first Avengers. From the first Avengers movie, you knew who all the Avengers were, and that was
But
it.
even
In Star
branching
Wars,
out-
you didn't know who Darth Maul was in the first movie.
This
You didn't
is
know who.
such a
It was
terrible-
so different. So
Yeah, but
that
are you
was
gonna
my-
say that Star Wars is better than
Nah.
Avengers because of
yeah, it
that?
kept you more on your toes. You didn't know what to expect as much because there was so much more
Okay.
mystery. There was more for
But at
you to
the
try
same
and figure
time-
out or stuff or put together because you only
All right,
saw
all right,
this
all right,
villain
all right.
for 3 movies and then you only saw this
So-
villain for 3 movies. So you had
Okay,
to put
so-
things together.
Hold
Whereas
on.
You're
So
Avengers,
what I'm trying to
You're
what
saying Star Wars had a better storyline.
yeah, that's what I said from the beginning. To me,
Okay,
Star
but
Wars
what
was a
I
better
think is
story,
going
not a
on
better
is-
movie. Because obviously,
think-
no matter what, it's an opinion. But the storyline to me
Yeah.
was just so much more in depth and better of
Okay,
a drama,
I got
whatever.
you. I
in
can-
Star Wars
I can
compared to whereas Avengers was more the graphics, the fights, it was epic in the action sense. You know what I mean?
So
Epic.
real quick, what I'm thinking
like
is
nothing
going on
looked
is that
fake.
I think that
Oh yeah,
what Frank is
absolutely.
saying is about Star Wars is one continuous. We'll go with one continuous story from 1 to
Mhm.
11, right? Or however, whatever order you
Yeah.
guys want to view it as.
What?
And then within those 11 movies, there's sub characters where they branch off and tell stories about. Correct?
Yeah.
Is that right? Or are you just
Well,
saying just continue?
That's
Yes
not
and
what I
no.
got from
Not
what you were
really. No,
saying.
like that's what I'm saying.
All
No,
right.
it
Yeah,
was
that's
that
not
like
what
we
he was
found out
saying.
with different characters
Characters-
as it went on. Like there
Right,
was
but
new,
and
new
those
things that-
characters then had
He's
their
saying-
own introductions
Marvel's
movie,
too
like Rogue
predictable.
One, Force Awakens, Han
Basically, yeah.
Solo.
Basically,
Okay.
I said Marvel
now
was too
here's why
predictable
I
because
think-
you knew about all the characters from the beginning.
Right, but
Right.
here's why I think Avengers tops that is because they will give you Iron Man 1, 2, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, whatever, then the Avengers, and then it's like, all right, the next one includes A, B, and C characters, and then they're all coming together, but they have like Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, they have their separate movies, but within those movies, they all intertwine into the bigger movies, the blockbuster ones. That's why it was so cinematically like
Listen.
mind-blowing when Infinity War,
Yeah,
you have
and everything
Thanos,
connects.
who was built up from the very first fucking Avengers movie, built up. He's now the huge villain. You have every
But that's what I'm
character.
saying.
Wait. That was touched throughout. Even like in the Quantum Leap, when he's in Ant-Man, when Thanos snapped his fingers and
Mhm.
Ant-Man is stuck in the Quantum Leap, then he's out and he now has to get back to
Mhm.
Captain America and Black from Civil War. They're bringing shit back from the fourth and future and back.
But exactly
It's
what you
all-
said, it
it's
was a
all comes
build
around
up.
full circle.
But that's what it was. The whole time it was a build-up. You knew what was going to happen from the first Avengers to the last. You knew what was expected to come. The only side things that were like, was Tony Stark dying, or like those couple little factors of like whatever. But
Right,
it was
bro,
all
they
a
did a lot
build-up
of things that
something
weren't
you were
true
waiting
to
to
the
see that you just
comics.
wanted to see. In Star Wars, from the first movie, you could not tell me you knew anything of what the ninth movie was coming or whatever. So it was all like a mystery of like, it was more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a twist. It had more twists in it to where you couldn't figure it out as much of what was coming next. Whereas Avengers,
Well,
like I
Star
said, I
Wars
think it was
didn't
more
have
predictable.
comics, and Marvel was, everybody knew
Star
what
Wars
was
had
happening because it
comics.
was I know, but like,
yeah, I get you. The comics
know
came
what I'm
out.
saying?
Yeah, I hear you. Because Star Wars
Right.
comics came out as movies were coming out and stuff. Whereas Marvel
Yeah,
comics been around forever.
they took the movie idea off of all the comics that were already out, so
Right.
you
Yeah,
kind of had
that's
an
a good point.
idea of
So
what was
here's the
going
thing,
on.
exactly.
But bro, at
but
the
like
end
I
of the
said,
day,
if you
all
read
said
the
and
comics,
done,
you will know
the
what was going
whole-
on in the movies. You kind of had an
But wait,
idea.
all said and done, what?
But still, what
What's
No,
that,
what-
Joe?
I was
talking
asking
about a
Joe.
whole here. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is just the way they made it, the way they filmed it, the way they put it in order, the way they tied everything into the
Introduced
Avengers,
certain
and then did
characters at
another
certain
3-side
times.
movie.
Yeah.
Right. And then, bro, just the coolest part about all those Marvel movies is how they literally took all these main characters from separate movies and put them in one big
Yeah.
blowout movie and
That was
made
a
it
good
into
one.
3 huge parts. Actually 4, because the last one was a part 2.
But that's
And
why
it's just no other.
that's why you're like,
Listen,
no
you
other-
can't compare Star
No,
Wars
you-
to Avengers.
absolutely you can. But hang on,
Yeah,
wait, because
dude, you
But
can't.
by
bro,
you saying
really
that,
can't.
that's why I feel like again it was more of like a build up or a hype, because you look at like basketball and people hated the Heat because they put a bunch of superstars on a team, and of course they're gonna win a bunch of super championships, right? So like yeah, you do that and you put a bunch of people of like whatever. Like that's to me, like I said, Star Wars wasn't like that. It started off like with the one story of
you got it
whatever,
all
and then turned into all
wrong,
this stuff.
man.
Like I think that Star Wars was
Bro,
written better.
I just think Star Wars is huge the way
Plus-
it is because
No,
dude,
because
like,
Star Wars
the
started
language
with
is
the
all
3
made
movies,
up. It's such a good story.
but
It's
it went
just-
out of order
the way
too.
they
So
filmed
like
that was awesome.
That was interesting.
the way,
All right,
how
so
they released it out of order, and then you can go back and watch it in the correct order, and then they had the side stories with
Yeah,
Han Solo
right.
and Rogue One and whatever. They did kind of the same thing of with the order of how it came together. How you did that separately in a different order and whatever, and then it came together was still great, just like how it was with Avengers. But again, Avengers was more action and like whatever. Don't get me wrong, because there was crying
Listen.
moments, the comedy moments, or
Yeah.
whatever. But like, I don't know. To me, like when I watched Star Wars, I was more like, what? I don't know. I
Yeah.
just
Like what? You
I
gotta
guess to me
explain that.
personally,
Comes
I
down
was
to
more into
preference
it.
and your opinion at that
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're both huge movie franchises,
right.
man.
What I
Both of
want
them.
to say real quick.
I mean,
you
I
brought
would
up-
even go to say equally, but
No, go ahead, finish, because I
No, you
wanted to
could
get back
say
to the
equally.
thrillers and some. But Joe, you had something to say?
finish.
The way you said how Star
No.
Wars was made like 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 7, 8, 9. That was very interesting. Have you guys ever seen the movie Memento?
Yes.
Okay, so
That's
that
one of the ones you
movie
made me watch.
is-
No, I haven't.
it's
It made me borrow
filmed-
the DVD.
it's so good. It's filmed in 2 different ways. Color, which is forward, and then black and white, which is backwards. So when you have to watch this movie like 2 or 3 times, probably 3 or 4 times, to be honest with you. But when you watch it in color, you're seeing what's going on from this point until this point. And when you're watching it in black and white, which it cuts scenes. So like, in a sense, to what he's saying is they had 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 7, 8, 9. It's similar to that, where like a Quentin Tarantino movie. You know how it's broken up into like chapters, or he'll go forward and back a little bit.
Yeah.
Memento, like you saw, it's all one film. You're watching it from start to finish, but when you show clips of color, it's what's happening in the now, and when you show clips of black and white, it's what had happened backwards. So it's a really fucked up movie. It's like a neo-noir psychological thriller, and I love shit
Sounds
like this.
crazy.
It's really good because these psych thrillers like Shutter Island or Delirium or
23
like
is, would that be
the
considered?
number 23 is another
I
good
love that
psychological
one. That's
thriller.
that's one of my favorites.
That's a fucking good one. That's
I've
a
watched
really
that.
good
I've
movie,
seen it. I don't
23
remember
times.
it, though.
That's
No,
a fucked
yeah,
up.
Yeah.
That is a great movie, and he played such a Jim Carrey play. And he was one of my favorite
Dude.
comedians from back in the day, like in the
Yes.
'90s. Liar, Liar, The Mask, like Dumb and Dumber, all that stuff. I love Jim Carrey. But
Really good.
23, the number 23, that was such a good movie. He played such a
That
good
shit
part.
was fantastic. It was personally one of my favorite. Also, Vanilla Sky was very good. That shit fucked you up. That was a very good psychological thriller. I wouldn't say psychological thriller, but it made you really think. As well as something that just came out was 2019 or 2020, Joker, the one with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
So
2019.
The suit
good,
walking down
bro.
the
Oh
stairs.
my God.
They
Let
said
me
it was
tell
good.
you
I want to
something.
watch it
It's a heavy movie,
Listen,
man.
it's a heavy movie, but this movie,
because
the
it
way it was
explains why he
made,
became the Joker, right?
Yeah,
you're
but
right
it's
there.
sad,
You're
man.
right
It's like
there with him.
Because he gets
Like,
picked on a lot and like stuff like that, right?
they
I wanna
did
see it.
they really did that movie so good.
bro.
A lot of people feel indifferent about it though. But
I was gonna say because
I-
there's a
I
lot of
liked
people
it.
that's favorite Joker is still Heath Ledger. You know what I mean? Everyone
Which is
says he was the
understandable.
best
Yeah,
Joker.
but this
But this is
that's
totally
fine.
different.
I
It's
personally
totally
liked
different. It's on a whole
the
nother
gangster
level.
Joker in Suicide. Was it Suicide Squad?
Yeah,
I
with
liked
Jared
him.
Leto.
He was a
Okay.
different type of Joker. You know what I mean? But like, if you look at how many types of Jokers there are over the years, like there's actually a thing you could look up.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
like
I've
different
seen it.
drugs for the
But
different Joker,
nobody's
like
Yeah.
done the
acid and
Joker
stuff.
like this, man. The
This
closest
is
anything's
totally
come
different.
is in the movie or the show Gotham. I
This
think
is-
they kind of
he's
touched
played-
on when the Joker
Yeah.
was a kid,
Yeah.
but you have to see that this is like his.
See, I liked
he's
Gotham.
This
older,
is character development.
his mental state.
100%.
Right, dude, you got
No, like I said, I
It's a
want to see
mental
it. I just
illness,
haven't yet.
bro. Check it
Oh,
out.
that's
Definitely
something I'll check out. Definitely.
Yeah, they
Listen.
made it real. Like, bro, the Joker's kind of like a crazy villainous character, like, kind of knows what he's doing. In this movie, it like really touches on like the lower side of like mental illness and like this man struggling back in the day, and it's wild, bro. It's so good.
Bro, it's fucked up, man.
Such
It
a
gives you
good
that
movie.
sense of mental illness that like you're right there with
Yeah.
it. Well, you think
You
you're
literally
in the
feel.
yeah, you feel
Yeah,
it.
you feel like you're crazy too. Like it's wild.
One more thing I want to touch on about like
Let's see.
feeling movies is this guy, fuck, what's his name? Aaron Aronofsky, I think is his name. He's a director. He did Requiem for a Dream. Have you guys seen that shit?
No.
Requiem for a Dream. Jared Leto, Jennifer Connelly, and
Heard it was really
Marlon Wayans. The bottom line is you feel it's a fucked up movie, but you feel like you are that person and you're in it with them, where you feel like your own skin crawling when you're in this film with it. Check it out. Requiem for a Dream. It's very good. It's like early 2000s, I want to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I mean, so based on that, it gives you this huge sense of fear. And I think fear is a very excellent emotion to go through, as well as laughter and love and shit. But when it comes to movies, when you're when you're scared of something and you feel that emotion of fear, such as like horror movies and like drama or thriller movies, they really fuck you up mentally. And there's a lot to be said on that. So I think we should probably get into that at another time.
Yeah. Well,
And that-
honestly, like I was gonna say, we're kind of getting to a little over an hour now, so we
Getting at
probably
that
should
point.
wrap. I know we really didn't touch on thrillers and horror that much, so we'll definitely wrap it up and bring
Let's-
thrillers and
let's-
horror for next week,
Yeah.
and we'll go right into that because there's actually something that I think thriller and horrors is gonna take us into with like serial killers and stuff inspiring.
Oh,
them,
like okay, like a
whatever.
mental illness and how that shit develops into it.
And there's a lot of horror movies that were taken out of that from serial killers and stuff like that that I feel like we can make a whole nother episode just
Actually,
from
sorry
that.
to cut you
So-
off.
No,
This
sorry.
plays very well into the question I asked earlier in the episode, where do people influence movies or do movies influence people?
People, absolutely.
This is a crazy thing. We'll
So,
get
yeah.
into this next. So
We'll definitely talk more about it next week with you guys. We're gonna
For
start
sure,
off with
for
thriller
sure,
and
for sure.
horror, and then we'll get into, like I said, exactly how it affects, and we'll get more into that of how movies affect people or vice versa, and like
Yeah.
with serial killers, horror things, and events and stuff.
So again, thank you all so much for the
Before
likes,
we go,
listens, follows.
Before we go,
shares.
real quick on that,
I got something to
we
say.
had the best comment or
It was definitely one of the top, I'd say, because we've gotten a lot of them, and I appreciate everyone who reaches out to me or Frank or Joe and says they like the show, they love the show, what we should touch on or what we could get into. We thank you all so much. We have listeners all
People say I
over
sound like an
America
idiot.
right now, which is pretty crazy. We
a
also
couple of
have
countries too. Yeah.
a listener in South Africa. Bali, thank you so much. And it's just it's so
Hey,
overwhelming
Bali.
sometimes. Dad, you were gonna say something. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say like it's awesome, exactly, like because number one, all the feedback we've been getting, like I said, exactly, we love it. But you guys don't be afraid to too. Like a lot of people text it to us, like put a comment out there. We love
Write
to
the
see
comment. We do.
comments
We
and like
love
whatever.
it. Yeah.
We want other people to see what you guys have to say too, because it might get them more to listen and so on or whatever. But
Say what they want to say.
I'm just gonna throw it down here. Specialists in Nothing has a drinking game.
Okay, so I'm gonna explain this to you guys real quick. To wrap this up now, I have a friend, Jessie, in North Carolina, and her husband Will just had a baby Mason, adorable, a little while back. They told me that they developed a drinking game. Well, they had thought of the drinking game where, if you haven't noticed already, Frank says the word like about let's see, 79 times an episode.
I would have laughed if he said 100,000.
100,000 times an episode. And they created a drinking game because Joe, on occasion, when he's on his rant, he'll say, or I'll get or I'll get upset with something, or I'll say, oh, well, we'll talk about this, and then we'll talk about this, and then we'll talk about whatever it is. They made the drinking game about it where somebody would drink every time Frank would say like. So Frank says, like, I was like going to the other day with the store and like I found this like groceries and like,
so they would have to sip it.
Dude, they said that they would play. It was like my friend and maybe 5 or 6 other friends of hers were getting together, and they said they couldn't even play anymore because they were constantly all drinking.
So wait, like they were taking a sip when I said whatever. They took a shot when Joe said, and they had to pass it to someone else when you got interrupted.
Similar.
Right?
When you said like, everybody had to take a sip.
Yeah.
When you said or whatever, something like that, they would take a shot. And then when Joe said, then they would point to somebody, and that person would have to drink.
That's
so
funny.
I think it's shout out to North Carolina for building it up.
I'm glad we can influence you to drink.
And no, honestly, I'm just happy that there was a group, not even just one person listening by themselves. There was a group of people listening to our show, and they were having a good time and enjoying it. And like that to me is everything. Like, put it this way, like I know we're not up there yet, but we have a good amount of listeners a week right now, to where we're happy. And the fact that you guys are enjoying it and then coming back to tell us stories like that, that's what it's all about.
It's heartwarming. You want to tell them real quick. I thought that one of our first few titles should have been Campfire Conversations, and both of them, Joe and Frank, were like, no, that's stupid, let's not do that. But yet here we are 15 episodes later, we have my friends sitting around a campfire having conversations about our shit. That's great. It shows things go full circle. Yes, so absolutely. Thank you all again. Thank you so much. There's a lot of people I could shout out, but we'll save that for a live. We're gonna do live sometime soon.
We did one.
We did one.
I mean, it was more like a behind the scenes of us working on the show and like whatever. We did do it like kind of last minute, so I know a lot of people didn't get to do it, join in.
Friends did want to join in. Yeah, we got to promote that a little bit more.
We'll promote it a little more in advance and let you guys know, and definitely do one soon.
Joe, real quick, tell them what's gonna go down on August 15th. Promote this real quick.
Oh my God, Danny and Frank, match of the century. Going to be going head to head in an undisclosed location.
Can I just say, we started talking about it that day. Who's going to take
the butter?
We did the weigh in, and he's like, I'm going to try and gain some weight. You try and lose some weight. We'll get closer away. I'm like, okay.
I didn't say I was going to try to gain weight.
I've already gone from 240. I've already gone from 240 to 237. Or I'm sorry, 227. I lost 13 pounds already in 2 weeks. So I went from 240 to 227. Danny went from
both down to 200.
Danny went from 170
to 170. I've been 170.
Well, you better start fucking gaining weight.
I told him, I said, get some Inshore or some Caltine bars or something and gain some fucking weight.
Come to my house for a week. I got you.
Better put something behind that.
I'm gonna put it behind it, son.
Look, he already got winded after those two.
Yo, you don't see me smoking my lungs away, brother.
No, I just,
this is gonna be
you hanging out talking to all your buddies while I was doing my high intensity training.
Man, I love you, but I'm gonna fuck you.
It's gonna be a fun little thing we're gonna do here, man.
August 15th. Again, thank you so much for listening. We love you guys. I love you guys.
Love you guys.
All right. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for listening.